Hello everyone, welcome to CSC Core Concepts in the series of compiler design. So basically we are discussing about the finite automata, and in my earlier videos we have already discussed about the deterministic finite automata, that is DFA. In this video we are going to discuss about NFA, that is the non-deterministic finite automata. So let us first try to understand what do we mean by a non-deterministic finite automata, and then based on these we will solve some examples. So the difference here is the word deterministic. So here, since it is called as non-deterministic, this shows that the exact state to which the machine moves cannot be determined. Okay, so this is the important term. It cannot be determined means that for a particular symbol the machine can move to any combination of states. As it has finite number of states, the machine is called as a non-deterministic finite automata. Now let me explain to you why do we require a NFA. Okay, so now for an NFA, let's say for example, you take the example of any type of an electronic device. Let's say you take the example of fan. Okay, so now here we have when I am in nowhere state, when I press, let's say, 1. Okay, so maybe my fan will go to an on state, and if I press 0 it will go to an off state, right? Now this is something which is a deterministic, means that every input value will lead you to somewhere. Okay, either it is on or it is off. You cannot have any other state apart from these two, that half on half off. You cannot have such a state, right? So any type of electronic device, everything is in a deterministic finite automata, DFA. Now if it says that it is neither on or off, then you will say that the fan is not working properly, right? So that is a problem here. Now, if I am talking about a human brain, and let's say, for example, I am giving you some questions and I am telling you that you solve these questions and come tomorrow. Now, what will be your state? Okay, now some students will really solve and come. Some students will solve but not come. Some students will not solve and come. So, you cannot determine the state. This is the human brain, right? So, it is non-deterministic. So that is what it is, NFA, that is non-deterministic. You do not know the exact combination of states. So actually and practically a DFA is preferred. By why we are studying NFA? That is the question. NFA is the first state of DFA, right? So first you determine NFA, that whatever are your known states, you create a finite automation for that. And then for the states which are not known, for them you have to discuss the DFA. So in case of an NFA, we have 5 tuples, of course, like we have in DFA, that is Q. Q is the set of states. Summation is, this is the input alphabets, this is the transition. So here you can see the transition is input. When you are giving some input to some existing state, you can have any combination of states, 2 raised to the power Q. Right. Now you can have any combination, and here Q0 is your initial state and F is your final state. So here we have something called as a null state also, that is represented by epsilon. Epsilon. Okay. So here if I press A, I go to a next state, but I can even have a null input also, which is not there for DFA. So this is the difference between DFA and NFA. So more you will be able to understand when we will solve some examples. So let us see the first example. So draw NFA for a language where it contains set of all strings starting with 0. So when your strings start with 0, let us start with the minimum string, that is 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. So these are the possible language sets. Now, if I want to draw the NFA, so obviously I will start with the first state. First input I will say 0, and I will go to the Q1 state, that is the final state. Now, of course, the question is such that first, after the first input, you can have any number of zeros and ones. It does not matter. So here it is. I can have any number of zeros and ones. I will remain in the final state. but I should not have an input 1 in the beginning. This is required, right? So if I am talking this about DFA, this is an incomplete DFA. Okay, this is an incomplete DFA. Why? Because still I have not mentioned that what if somebody gives the input 1. So this is an NFA. Here, if it is a DFA, the DFA would crash. Why? Because you have not specified what about the input 1. But for an NFA, it will simply ignore that path which may lead to any type of state you don't know. Now let us test this NFA for this string. So test, let us say my input string given is 001. So first input is 0, it will lead me to Q1 state. Second input is 0, I will remain in the Q1 state. And then if I have an input 1, I will go to the final state, right? Now if I want to test for 101, so now my first input here is 1. Okay. So on getting input 1, it will go to a null state. This is called as a dead configuration. Dead configuration means I do not have anywhere to go. So when you have a DFA, we show it using a trap condition. This is a dead state or a trap state. So in DFA, it is very much necessary to show this trap condition. Otherwise, I would tell you that your teacher will cut your marks because you will say that it is an incomplete DFA. But with NFA, it's okay if you are not showing this state. So our pattern goes like, first you can create NFA, then you create a DFA, then you create an MDFA, that is a minimalistic DFA. Okay, that is a compact version. So let us see another example. So let us say I want to construct a NFA for accept strings of 0, 1 of length 2. So I want only those strings having length 2. So what are my options? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 0. Okay. So if I give 0 or 1, okay, anything input is allowed. I will go to Q1 state. If I give input 0, 1, I will go to the final state. So up to a length 2 is allowed. Now after this state, if I can give 0 or 1, if it is a DFA, I would lead to a dead state, right? But for NFA, I don't need to specify. So let us see, a transition table is given, and based on this transition table, we have to draw a NFA. So let's say present state is my Q0, and if my input is 0, I will lead to Q0 and Q1. So if my input is 0, I can lead to Q0, I can remain in this state also, I can go to state Q1. And if my input is 1, I will remain in Q0, okay, here. So 0, 1 both will remain in Q0 and I may lead to Q2 state here. Okay, now from state Q1, if my input is 0, I will lead to a final state Q3. Otherwise, for 1, I have a dead configuration. So I may omit showing it. Okay, I don't need to show it. Then from state Q2, if I am giving value 0, I will lead to Q2 state, okay, same state Q2, or I can go to a Q3 state, and I can give for input 1 also, I will lead to a Q3 state. From Q3 state, if I give 0 or 1 input, I will remain in Q3 only. So you can say that every DFA is an NFA, but vice versa is not true. That is, NFA is not DFA, but every DFA is a NFA. Understood? So we can derive a DFA from a NFA. So first, if you don't understand anything while creating DFA, you first create a NFA and then you create a DFA. I hope you understood the basic fundamental about NFA. So in my upcoming video, we will discuss some of the more problems about NFA. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to CSE Core Concepts. Thank you.